is concrete.
Concrete. The Romans invented concrete 2,000 years ago. We think of concrete as a modern discovery, but in fact, it's reinvention, it's rediscovery.
The Pantheon in the middle of Rome. One of the most astonishing buildings ever built. It's 2,000 years old and still intact. And its huge dome, made entirely of unreinforced concrete.
The Pantheon was built as a temple to honor all of the Roman gods. It actually has the largest unreinforced concrete dome in the world. The fact that this is still standing today just stands as a testament to the awesome engineering minds of the ancient Romans.
The beauty of concrete is that it can be poured and molded into blocks of any shape. The Romans could make arches, vaults, and domes. This was an architectural revolution, and the Pantheon is the pinnacle of Roman concrete construction.
The dome of the Pantheon is a fantastic example of how good the Romans were at building in concrete. It's 142 feet in diameter, with no columns to support the dome. That is 50% bigger than the dome of the Capitol building in Washington.
The diameter of the Pantheon is the same as the height of the structure. It's an absolutely enormous space. You could hold over 5,000 people inside the Pantheon. It's absolutely amazing.
Roman concrete technology was incredible. In fact, they varied the densities of the aggregate in the cement. They would use high-density aggregate in the foundations and in the walls, but then up in the dome where the cement had to be a lot lighter, they would use a lower-density aggregate.
It's this ingenious engineering that allowed the Romans to build in concrete without the need for reinforcement or pillars.
There's one very special quality of Roman concrete. It continues to harden with age. The dome of the Pantheon is now stronger than it was 2,000 years ago.
Modern concrete buildings rarely last 50 years. They are in constant need of repair. The Capitol dome was finished in 1856 and has had 2 extensive restorations since then. The last time the Pantheon dome was repaired was 202 AD, and that was after an earthquake. And there was another astonishing feature of Roman concrete.
Roman engineers were so ahead of their time that they discovered that if they changed the chemical composition of concrete, this would allow the concrete to set even underwater.
Underwater concrete. This was revolutionary. The key ingredient, a volcanic ash from the slopes of Mount Vesuvius.
It contained about 85% volcanic ash, lime, water, and some even say animal's blood. This stuff was strong.
It doesn't let water in like modern concrete. It's weatherproof and resistant to decay. And incredibly, it meant that the Romans could build in the sea and construct harbors.
They could build artificial harbors wherever they wanted. The Roman Empire flourished.
The Romans poured the concrete into wooden crates, which then sank into place, and the concrete set on the seabed. They did this again and again, building up the harbor, the concrete continuing to harden over time, underwater. The biggest concrete harbor the Romans built was at Caesarea in modern-day Israel. They shipped in 44 ships, each containing 400 tons of volcanic ash. With concrete, they built one of the biggest harbors in the ancient world. Caesarea Harbor was 90,000 square yards. That's big enough to enclose 30 football fields. It could accommodate 300 ships.
They used over 1 million cubic feet of concrete to build it. And this thing extended out into the sea almost half a mile. It was massive.